Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy JB back again. Thank you for having me in your room, your TV, your phone, wherever you are watching this from, your laptop, your desktop, your browser, going to work, on your way home, at home, supporting us. Thank you. We appreciate you. It's Jabril and back again on the African Fighters podcast. And today I still have a very familiar face. But ladies and gentlemen, this time better picture quality, better camera, better audio. It's Toby Aderemi from Lagos, Nigeria. What's up, Toby?
I'm doing great, my brother. How's it over there?
Good, good. I can see you're checking yourself out, licking your lips, giving us light skin vibes because now you can see your face very well, Abby. Nice one, nice one. So if you can see IV cam, a watermark there on Toby's screen in the top right corner or top left corner, I would say, is because Toby have found a way to use his iPhone as his cam instead of his webcam. So that makes a huge difference, as you can see. So, boom, the two of us now. I can see that. Yeah, there's a bit of an upgrade in the quality of African Fighters podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have this in audio form very, very soon. So you could. The reason why we never had the African Fighters podcast on audio form is because we were not happy with the audio quality from both sides. So now that we've been improving, I think it's high time we have it in audio form. Have it on Spotify or wherever you get your pods from. So yeah, ladies. So Toby, how is Lagos now? How have you been? What's good?
Well, I guess we're coping as we always do. The price of fuel has tripled, but we are here.
So in your day-to-day life, what do you use fuel for?
The question should be, what don't you use fuel for, if I'm being honest? Because, I mean, right now I'm running on generator. There has not been live for a couple of days. It's like a general thing in this part of Lagos.
Ah.
So just running businesses basically has become really difficult. So,
So. A couple of days, there is literally no electric power.
yeah, it happens like that.
Wow. I am just trying to
You
sound
cannot
Ajebo,
relate.
guys. I do understand I'm Nigerian as well. Yeah, it's the Niger way, up Nepa. So yeah, I'm doing alright myself. Last week I was engaged with some personal stuff. I couldn't come on the pod. So that's why we were off without an episode last week in case you bothered to check if you missed us. But regardless, with that being said, we're just going to hop into it. The first topic of the day, Impa Kasanganai from DRC, by the way of United States. Can't exactly tell you where in the US, but Impa Kasanganai qualifies in the PFL and he is officially in the playoffs. Impa Kasanganai recently won his fight against Tim Caron. He won by an arm triangle choke, I believe, in the second round in the PFL for regular season bout. Recently, PFL have been really pushing in Impa in the space of what 3 months or 2 months. Impa has fought 3 times in the PFL. Isn't that amazing? So, Toby, tell me, what did you think about Impa and the differences that the turnaround that you would say that his career has had recently since he joined the PFL?
I think it's one of the stories that people would love to draw inspiration from. I mean, from becoming or from being the human highlight reel for Joaquin Buckley. I mean, we all remember that kick to his head that knocked him out. To potentially competing for $1 million. I think that's something that he should be proud of. Really, moving up from the welterweight to becoming a light heavyweight. Um, I'm glad that he has qualified for the playoffs too, because we know that the PFL regular season is the rules change, every now and then, and I think he has benefited from one of the rule changes this year. So that's
Are you
one to look
talking
forward
about the playoffs? The playoffs being quarterfinal, semi-final in the past, and now it's just semis then finals.
Yes, that amongst others, because now he has two. He has to just fight twice to get that money. Really, one semi-final and
Mhm.
one final.
No, no, no. He
When he
doesn't have
starts,
to fight twice. He has to win two fights.
he has to win two fight. Yeah, okay. Thanks. And also, we know he has 5 points. Okay, so basically the PFL works like this: if you win, you get 3 points. If you get a finish in round one, you get an extra 3 points. But he has 5 points currently, and I think he's the third seed out of the four qualifiers. And so he has 5 points because he got the finish in the second round. And that also benefited him because this year's rule change also made sure that because Ty Flores had issues with his weight, he gets to qualify above, you know, and then face a slightly less dangerous opponent. Well, that I'm not sure it really matters because if you want the $1 million, you're going to have to fight the best anyways. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, but one of the swing factors I would say is the weight class. So, like moving from welterweight all the way to light heavyweight is not a small jump. That's a couple of kgs because we understand kilograms. That's a couple of kgs, and naturally, the guys at light heavyweight are mostly, if they are not rounded and muscular, they would be tall and lanky, and they would have incredible reach advantage over Impa. But yeah, as you can see, Impa is a dog. He dragged him down and yeah, finished him by submission. So yeah, shout out to our boy Impa. Impa has been kind enough to give us a couple of interviews. One of the first UFC fighters that we interviewed here at the African Fighters, and we wish him all the well. DRC, Kinshasa, stand up. Yes, yes, yes. So speaking about, we're going to travel from Democratic Republic of Congo to Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe, the hottest guy right now in the mouth of everybody. Everybody out of Zim is our boy Themba Gorimbo. That is the answer, Themba Gorimbo. Now, Themba auctioned his fight kit, and with the intention, because I believe we've spoken about this, with the intention of like bringing water to his village in Zimbabwe. And some guys at UAE Warriors, the guys around UAE Warriors, I don't know who exactly, kind of like bought the kits. Because if you buy the kits, basically, if you buy the kits from auction, basically, you are sort of like giving back to charity, which in this case translates to building a borehole in Zim. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Stemba just today posted on his page the boreholes are already up or has already been dug. Fresh water now for the community there. He has a beautiful mini documentary that he made on his page, which is very very nice to see. Um, it just shows that he wasn't all talk. He was all also like about action. Because you and me, we are from. Oh gosh, Toby has frozen, but I will talk. Okay, he's back. So you and me, Toby, we are from Africa, so we understand the
I can hear you.
African. Yeah, yeah, we understand the African factor when it comes to getting things done the proper way and the quick way. So, like with regards to the borehole, the fact that he got it done like this in just a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, is very impressive, and that shows that he's really ready to make a change for his people. We also saw that Impa, I think he sold or gave away his gym to one of his former foes or friends. I don't know who exactly, but a new management of his gym. That means that he's going to be leaving South Africa for good, maybe at this point. But yeah, let's just go back to the borehole. What do you think about Impa backing up his words, basically giving back to his community? Even though he's not satisfied yet. As my people say, he's not belefu yet. That means that he's not full yet, but he still gives back to his community. What do you think?
I think it's obvious to anyone who has listened to Themba. I think he has a really good heart. I think his heart is in the right place. Um, I think he needs to find a way to do the things he wants to do in a way that doesn't hurt him and his family. And I think he has learned from that. But I think he just has a really good heart, and a lot of people will benefit from what he has done. Um, and I'm very happy that we get to talk about things like this on the pod because when people do good things for their homeland and everything, sometimes it just gets, swept under the rug. It doesn't make as much headline, but these are the kind of things that we need more people to do, in Africa to help grow just the community in general. So yeah, I'm really happy he was able to do that and pull it off.
Yeah, shout out to Themba, man. Great guy. Great guy. He can be controversial with what he says, but he backs it up, man. He's not just about words, he's also about action. Shout out to Themba Gorimbo. Still speaking on Themba. Still speaking on Themba. This one hits home to me because I'm a huge pro wrestling mark, huge nerd when it comes to pro wrestling, and I would say the most successful pro wrestler in the history of the business of pro wrestling, and the number one guy in Hollywood, the most followed man on the most followed American on Instagram, Dwayne The Rock Johnson reached out to Themba Gorimbo, publicly reached out to Themba Gorimbo. Now, it was a tweet that he replied the ESPN page. That is, he replied. I'm just gonna pull this tweet up. Themba, sorry guys. He replied basically the ESPN post about Themba Gorimbo with the $7 in his account, and because Dwayne The Rock Johnson had a very similar story before his prominence in WWE. After his failed attempt in being an American footballer, he basically was broke and poor and all that. Anyways, so this is what Dwayne The Rock Johnson said. This is fucking crazy to see and brings back many emotions and memories. Sorry about the F bomb, guys. $7.49 in this fighter's bank account. I once had $7 too. I've been there on that grind. Got your back. Brother, I'll help. You got this. I'll be in touch. The answer. MMA. Well, by the way, Themba has an incredible Instagram, Twitter handle. The answer. Themba Gorimbo. So, this means that Dwayne The Rock Johnson didn't just look at this tweet. He had to go find the handle. He had to make sure it's legitimate. Hardest worker in the room. If you follow Dwayne The Rock Johnson, 6 years ago, he started this series on his YouTube channel called $7 Hour or $7. Forgot what it is. Basically, it is about resilience. It is about him using that moment of him having just $7 in his account or in his pocket, really, because at that point it was mostly hard cash. So he only had $7, and he was living in his parents' house. He had a failed failed football career, and that was when he decided to pick up and go into the WWE and certainly becoming the most electrifying man and being what he is today. So yeah, he says he's gonna reach out to Themba. This is incredible, but Themba just had one win in the UFC, and the antics and just the microphone. He has like WWE standard promo skills, right? That he can talk, good talker, good communicator, and it is working well for him now. I'm pretty sure when Dwayne, well, if you look at his social media engagement, look at his social media following, there's been like literally a huge jump. He told us himself when we were talking to him about he's never seen his phone that busy. But I've been rambling too much. What do you think about Dwayne The Rock Johnson reaching out to Themba Gorimbo for $7?
Honestly, these are the kind of things that I'm sure Themba would have dreamt of, growing up. Because and fair play to Dwayne, it's something he always does. Like he reached out to Ngannou, he always like he can relate to that story, to that grind. And the next thing we saw was Ngannou on Fast and Furious. So I mean, there's a lot that you can do with the publicity that being in contact with someone like Dwayne Johnson can bring for him. At the end of the day, he's not just trying to be just another UFC fighter. He's trying to make his mark. He's trying to, you know, get the money, get the bag, and there are a lot of ways to do that. And I think if he plays his cards right with, Dwayne Johnson, I think he might even be a little bit more natural, like in front of a crowd, and easier to promote than even Francis. So I think Themba has something really good going on there.
Yeah, when you look at the UFC, right, there have been guys that there were not they I'm not saying Themba is not going to be A level or championship material, but like they've been guys that are good talkers, they've got incredible story and they come across very likable for like the audience over there. And Themba is certainly one of those guys. He's sort of like what's the name of this fighter? This guy called I think he's called Green. Uh is it Green? The guy that has like this DMX voice like this. I forgot what his name. He calls his coach his daddy. But anyways, you remember the guy that came last press conference? He came with like $50,000 in cash.
Nah, I don't think I saw that.
Oh gosh, I think his name is Green, something Green. Maurice Green just keeps saying in my head. But yeah, so like we've seen guys like that are not necessarily championship material, but then because of how they come across on TV and very likable as a character, I think they would end up getting even a better deal with the UFC. The UFC would like to keep them around, and there will be popular names that would make them be, instead of being in the prelims, they'll probably be like opening the pay-per-views or maybe high on the prelims or something like that. So yeah, Demba being 32 years, that means that there isn't too much left in his tank. He's just at his peak right now or his prime right now. So with it's only going to benefit him with him becoming more popular and then popular people talking about him. He already has an incredible name. The answer is sticks in the head. Themba Gorimbo. The answer, yeah. Shout out to Themba, man. I hope his next fight is going to be in a very visible card, and I hope he puts a spectacular performance and um, also post fight. You know, something about his fight, I think he opened the prelims and he had a unanimous decision victory, but still, because of the story that he has, Michael Bisping went into the ring, octagon, and did an interview for him. UFC don't just do interviews for unanimous decision victories that down on the card. They just normally just ignore a fight until like there's like something incredible happens. But like he got Bisping in the octagon talking to him. I think the UFC as well. They feel like they found something. No pun intended. He's from Zim, but they feel like they found diamond. So yeah, shout out to Themba, man. We are riding with you all the way, my brother, to the top, to the top. Shout out to you, man. Hopefully one day you'd also sponsor the African fighters. Uh I had to do a cheeky plug in there. So let's move from Zimbabwe to Cameroon. Cameroon/Nigeria. In this case, we are talking about Francis Ngannou and Kamaru Usman graduating from Harvard. So yeah, so when I saw this, to be honest, I had no idea what kind of certificate this is. Business in sports and entertainment certificate that you go to a few classes. Apparently, I think the impact that those classes had on Usman and Ngannou must be huge because of how proud they were after the event. All the athletes, like from Cesar Spiliqueta to some NFL athletes, there's also this girl that is a former Manchester
Any
United
Aluko.
striker, or I believe Chelsea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That Nigerian girl, that British Nigerian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like few A-list athletes in there, an Indian cricketer in there. So I was like, huh, this seems like a big deal. Then I did a bit of a research and I understood what it was about. So yeah, so when it comes to business, right? Business of MMA entertainment. Ngannou, chairman of PFL Africa, I believe this will only do better for him getting such credentials. And Kamaru Usman, who has already started something with AKO, and it looks like they've got something in their hands because of how incredible the shows are down in Nigeria. So yeah, generally, what do you think about this deal, or have you given it a look, or it was just one of those things that you raised your eyebrow?
Well, man, when I saw it, I was first thing that jumped out to my mind was this is probably the most star-studded class you'll ever see. Like everybody in the class was somebody, some kind of superstar, right? So, okay, but moving on, I think the impact of what they've learned from being in that environment, being in that business setting, is already starting to show. Even before they graduated, I mean, look at what Usman is doing with the AKO. I mean, it's an amazing tournament. And there's also life after fighting, right? And they both know it. I think Usman is closer to the end of his career, than when he started. And taking everything that he has had to learn while in the UFC, while being the champion for so many years, and finding a way to also start something of his own that's going to be very profitable, that he can turn into something really big. I think that's an impact of, wanting to get to know the entertainment and the business um, and sports side of things too. And with Francis, I mean, there's no way you're going to tell me that all those classes didn't help in pulling off this amazing deal that we've never seen before. I mean, to pay him that much money, as Dana White put it, not to fight, it's it's crazy. I'm still not sure how he was able to do it, but I mean, it's obvious that these classes, this degree that they have now got in the bag, it's going to do a lot for them moving
Yeah,
forward.
yeah. I'm just going to talk about two talking points that I picked up on from the whole thing. So there was a very funny clip of Francis Ngannou writing how to get away from your contract on the board, and basically he can give you a lecture with obviously his history with the UFC. That was very cheeky and funny. But another thing is, I believe they were, because of how diverse the class is. When I was in uni, I spent some time in China. I went to uni in China, and our classes were extremely diverse. And one thing that they would do, like in one of the classes that we would go, I believe that was something about like cultural something class, something like that. It's like a diversity class. One thing they would do is they would make you sing a song from your country. Right? So we've got like, I think about 20 guys in there, from like, I would say 20, maybe 10 different countries in there. So like, I was from Nigeria and we had like loads of Nigerians, as it is everywhere. But like people from Pakistan, India, Russia, where South Africa, Namibia. So people would be singing songs from, I believe, I remember me and my brother, we sang, uh what did we sing? I think we sang Ye by Burna Boy. So that tells you it
That's a
wasn't too
good
long
choice.
ago. So so yeah. Speaking about that, why I spoke about that is because Francis Ngannou was asked to speak. Well, he wasn't asked to sing. Everybody was singing, so he sang the Cameroonian national anthem. We're not going to act like we know what the Cameroonian national anthem is, because we are Nigerians and the national anthem is in French, and we are Anglophone. We speak English. So apparently, Cameroonians online came for Francis Ngannou because he was botching the national anthem. He was getting the words wrong. And so, what do you think about this? It's really funny to me, but what do you think about this?
I mean, it is funny, but just as he has always done, I mean, Ungano always has an answer for everything. He's been on a roll on Twitter. He has an answer for Dana. He has an answer for John Jones. Recently, he had an answer for Tyson Fury. And as always, he had an answer. He was like, this is not about. I forgot how he put it, but I think it was on Facebook this time. He said, making everybody from different walks of life stand up in that classroom for the Cameroonian national anthem, and everywhere was silent. He felt like he had done proud. He has brought so much to the Cameroonian name rather than what people are just saying about him botching the words and everything. And that was a great comeback. I mean, Ngannou, sometimes I feel like, he has an answer waiting for everything. So yeah, I was
Because yeah, I was going to say he surprises me with how intelligent he is. Because he isn't someone that was like properly educated. He is more street smart than book smart, right? Because of how he grew up and the time in his youth that he spent on his way to Europe and all that transition. So obviously he skipped some time in school. But then when I started realizing how smart he was when he started speaking with Ariel Hawani. 'Cause how Ariel can get answers out of guys during his time with the UFC and during the struggle of that contract. Earlier from the struggle, when he was talking, I was like, this guy, he might not sound like he's speaking English well. And sorry, he went on Joe Rogan twice. The first time he wasn't very good at English, and the second time his English got better. So I listened to the second one. I haven't made a list of that, of things we learned from that. Check African Fighters list. So he sounds really intelligent, right? And I would say he's one of the biggest ambassadors that Cameroon have outside of Cameroon. Like I would say, apart from Samuel Eto'o, I don't think Cameroon at this point, they don't even have a football player that is as popular as Francis Ngannou is. They don't have a music artist that is popular as Francis Ngannou is. Because I would say the biggest artist out of Cameroon that I know is Stanley Eno, and Stanley Eno isn't really that much of a big deal. So so shame on you to to criticize him about the national anthem. He did what he could do. Say a lot of Nigerians out there cannot sing our national anthem. We saw it when they were doing the National Assembly, when they were swearing in ministers. They cannot sing it. They will say, Wale Shobo in freedom. You know what I'm talking about. so, so,
I mean,
so shame
to
on,
be fair to them, like the only time you get to sing it like every day repetitively is when you are like growing up in schools, right? And once you leave
Mhm.
school, you almost never get to do that again. And I
Yeah,
feel
you
like
forget it.
he's so big for Cameroon right now. Like I feel like if he was Nigerian, the way we'll be milking him, they are not even doing enough. Like he's supposed to be like the poster boy for almost everything they do in Cameroon. And I feel like if he was Nigerian, certainly that's what we'll do, right? So
If Francis Ngannou was Nigerian, bro, like with his story, look, forget we know we've got Easy. Easy is arguably a bigger MMA star than he is, but Easy does not have the same story or the same connection to Nigeria that Francis Ngannou does. Imagine Francis Ngannou did not leave Cameroon. He left Nigeria as a Nigerian, went through this journey and did all these things. Bro, if I don't collect
I
medal,
mean
national medal for Aso Rock for
MON
Villa.
I don't know, everything that there is to give him, they will give him. I mean, Easy's story does not necessarily resonate with a lot of Nigerians, if we're being honest. Like,
Mm-hmm.
his parents were rich and they flew him out and everything. Not everybody has that. Ngannou's story is like what every average African kid gets to experience. And so for
Mm-hmm.
them to even criticize rather than, hold on to that as something to look up to, I mean, as you said, shame on them.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't waste too much time on this. We're just going to the last topic, guys. There are a lot of African stories, but we just decided to branch out and pay respect to the lioness, the goat. I did say the goat with a W in there, the greatest woman of all time, even greater than Ronda Rousey, right?
By far.
Amanda Amanda Nunez. So Amanda Nunez called it quits with her double champ status. She laid them out there, leaving UFC in a saga of now looking for two champions that might not be huge draws. Um, I don't want to get into how in the business of sports entertainment how hard it is to get women athletes over more than men. And Amanda Nunez was never that person that could she wasn't like a Ronda Rousey during the time of Ronda Rousey. We know that Dana White and the UFC brass at that point did not like the fact that she was kicking everybody's ass. Uh, they probably would prefer Holly Holm at that point, around or Ronda Rousey at that point, because Ronda at that point, bro, she was like so huge that she
Global.
sold out stadiums. Well, she sold out a stadium in Australia, but like she was that huge. But Amanda Nunes was never that. But in MMA, bro, she has done it all, seen it all. Looked unbeatable. Lost, took an L, came back, paid up her opponent so bad that we did not need to see a trilogy. When I say her opponent, I'm talking about
Pena.
what's her name again? So yeah,
Juliana Pena.
Pena, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Juliana Pena. Like the rematch was like so one-sided, 50-43. It was so brutal that we don't want to see a trilogy except for Juliana Pena for some reason. Uh, there isn't anything left for Amanda Nunez to do, but an incredible career. She goes sailing down the sunset. And what do you have to say about that, my brother?
Honestly, she's someone I really respect, if I'm being honest, because you know just the thought of what she has done. Like if you break it down, two weight classes to defend. I think our last 12 fights or so have been, title defenses, and to change weight every now and then. I think what she has done for the UFC is so massive that I saw a tweet. I'm not sure who it was from. That as she has retired, a weight class might probably just be retired and they should start something else. That's how global she has been. Also, I think she has. There was another tweet I saw that was so funny. He said the way she was just casually removing her gloves, like, I've beat these women too much, enough to last me a lifetime. Like, I'm done. That was how it felt. And so I think she's just like an amazing athlete. I mean, who did she not destroy? She's beat everybody they put in front of her. I think Pena had some cheeky words to say about it, but nobody really cares
Oh, come on.
because, I mean, from the rematch
So
we saw, we
that
don't want
that
to see
she
that. It
sounds
was
she's sounding
really
like Kobe
bullying.
Covington at this point. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever
After
seen
he broke his nose,
a
right?
I've never seen a rematch that is so one sided. Never ever seen a rematch
Yeah.
that is so one sided like that. A 50-43, bro. There was two 10-8s in there. So yeah, ladies
I
and
mean,
gentlemen,
she
with that
literally did
notes,
whatever she wanted with Pena. So,
I was already doing the outro, rolling the carpet, or I mean,
yeah, sure.
unrolling the carpet. Yeah, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me. Oh. That is it from Toby. We spent 30 minutes here, so I think that's good enough. We chat about 5 topics. Please like and subscribe. This has been enjoyable. Support the African fighters. We are going to rebrand very soon. We are just trying to get better. All these fancy graphics you are seeing, they are going to be changing. Our logo down here is going to be changing as well. So yeah, hopefully Toby will get a better DSLR attached to his computer so you can see the skin pop in it. Get some ring lights like I have here. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. Toby, where can people find you?
Ladoma21 on all social media platforms.
Yeah, so Ladoma, singer songwriter Toby, in case you were wondering. Jibril JB Boki saying peace, we out.